Hi, I am Valesia Perry, and I am a student at Liberty University. This is my interpersonal communication project for Human Services 508. My table of contents will include my introduction, my overarching goal, or OAG, background and behavioral blend, potential barriers, internal and external identifications and provisions of solutions to noise pollutions, and finally, my action plan. Next slide. What is interpersonal communication? It is the type of communicating when people talk and listen in ways that engages all parties of the conversation. Next slide. My overarching goal, or OAG. My OAG is to improve my listening skills by increasing my listening awareness and becoming a level 1 listener. Also, to be an effective communicator to those I serve. Next slide. Some of my background includes I'm a 48-year-old African American female. I was born and raised in Henderson, North Carolina. I'm a wife, a pastor, and the mother of 3 sons, and I also have 3 grandchildren. I have a bachelor's in science degree from Liberty University in psychology and Christian counseling. Currently, I am pursuing a master's degree in human services and life coaching. Next slide. My behavioral blend. My behavioral blend is DISC, which includes active task-oriented, active people-oriented, passive people-oriented, and passive task-oriented. What's expected of me is a C, and my personal blend, CSD. Next slide. My potential barriers include I tend to think that people expect me to be nearly perfect. Depression or moodiness. I feel that people want me to fix whatever is broken. I tend to be picky. People may not find me approachable, and I don't take advantage of standing out in front. For me personally, I find that oftentimes I do like to stand in the background and not stand out in the front and be the center of attention. Also, I like to make sure that things are done correctly, and sometimes this can be a barrier in my life. And when things don't work out the way that I think they should, often I find myself a little moody or depressed. Some of the solutions to these issues could be that I could show people my warm and fuzzy side, because I am kind of funny and I do have little jokes. So sometimes I can show them that I can laugh and joke along with them. Also, I can lighten up in conversation and not be so serious all the time. I can reach out to others that I may see that have difficulty reaching out to me, and I can try not to be critical or take advantage of speaking to large groups of people when I have the opportunity. Many times I sit back and let other people do things that I could do myself because I don't want to be seen in the spotlight. Next slide. Improving your listening skills. Some ways that I can improve my listening skills is that you really truly have a desire to listen to what the person is saying and hear what they are really saying to you, so that you will be able to give them the correct advice or the correct help that is needed. Also, understanding why listening is important. And we know that in order to be able to fix any situation, we have to be able to listen to the person that is speaking to us to really see what the problem is and what the root of the issue is that they're dealing with. So we have to be able to listen to them in order to hear the whole situation. Also, we always keep an open mind. We can never just start judging or basing our opinions on the bits or pieces that we may hear in conversation, but we have to be willing to open our minds up and hear it in its entirety to be able to make a correct decision. And have patience with the individual. Sometimes people have very difficult situations and very difficult problems that they present to us, and we have to be able to have patience. We have to have patience when it doesn't work in the amount of time that we think it should have, or when they don't seem to understand what we're trying to get them to understand. So we have to have patience to work with them through whatever their situation may be. Next slide. Noise pollutions. Pollutions can be both internal and external. Internal noise pollutions include hearing what you want to hear and not really listening. A lot of times when people are talking to us, we may have 1,000 things going on in our own minds, and instead of really hearing what the person is saying, we'll be thinking about something else, or we'll be thinking about what we're going to do that afternoon. But these are pollutions that are in our mind that are internal. The way to fix that, the solution to that, would be to be sure to focus on the individual and maintain a consistent listening level at all times. Also, be sure to be honest at all times. It is very important that the person knows that we are actually actively listening to them and hearing about their situation, because it shows them that we are concerned about what they are going through. Now, for our external pollutions, examples of that could be loud noises, time deadlines, work pressure, and etc. Solutions to that would be to sure to give personal and direct attention. Focus on what they are actually saying and keep communication back and forward at all times. Make sure that we are engaged in the conversation that we're having with our client. Make sure that it's not just a one-sided conversation and we're quiet and they're talking, or vice versa. But also we have to make sure that we are going back and forth and the conversation is between the both of us. Next slide. Action plans. For me, my action plan would be to make sure that when I'm talking to a client, that I am very aware of my weaknesses in communication and in my listening. Sometimes when my mind may stray off, I know that I can be aware of that and be aware of times that I may be straying away from what the person is actually saying and bringing that focus back to the conversation at hand. Also, I would have to make sure that I'm aware of times that I may be staring off or thinking about something else, and make sure that I let the client know that I am truly listening to what they are saying and I am truly engaged in their conversation and concerned about what they're going through. Being aware of my surroundings, being aware of their surroundings and their environment and all the things that led them to me at that particular time. Also, the application of all the things that I've learned in our lesson in Human Services 508, which included all of the levels of listening, and listening not just to be listening, but listening with a purpose and a focus on the individual and providing the best care for the person possible. Also, we have to make sure that we are making sure that we apply all of the learning skills that we've learned throughout the lesson, and how to talk and how to listen to one another and have to actively have a conversation. And this is my project.